My name is Zhuo Mengting. I'm an artist. I make live performances. Originally, I'm from Guangzhou, that is south of China. At the moment, I live in London. I've been living in London for 7 years. Yes. I have a bit of an interesting journey in my exploration and practice. So I actually had a bachelor degree in literature and literary theory. In 1 year of my bachelor study, I started being interested in drama and theater. So at that point, I had my entrance to this medium. And I think what I'm really interested in doing is to make live performances and make them in the way that it justifies the medium. So, you know, if I want to make something live, it has to be, you know, for here and now. It's not something that that could be translated easily onto film or another medium. You know, if I want to do something with this medium, I want this to be very essential. But anyway, my entryway was from theater, and at that time, that was about 10 years ago, I watched a lot of not a lot. I watched some avant-garde theater that touched me a lot, and then I think, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to learn and try how to do this. And then in London, I did my master's study I did my master's study at Goldsmiths. It was a MA course called performance making, so it was oriented for more experimental and more live art, performance art kind of practice. And in my cohorts, there was a very good mix of people from all sorts of backgrounds, from visual arts, from music, from you know, drama, traditional theater. So I was exposed in variable influences, and gradually exploring what I really want to make. And then I think after some time, I arrived at the conclusion that in the context of British theatre, it becomes a bit more problematic for me to choose the genre as theatre. It's a very loaded term. People, when they talk about theater there, they have a lot of baggage and expectation about what it is like, about what kind of text they should use, and you know what they mean by revolutionized theater. And also in the time when we're experiencing economic crisis, and you know, it's not a great time for experimentation, I think. So yeah, so I think besides staying in that genre and try to squeeze my foot in the tight store, I was also exploring other fields and other spaces and other kind of conversation possibilities to make things. So this year, I somehow ended with. I think what happened this year is I made very good encounters with a welcoming community of people who are practicing in sound art, which is also a term that people have different interpretations about. You know, what is sound art? Is it just a kind of experimental music, or it has to be a form of gallery art? I think people can design themselves, but I met these people. I realized that I could do what I'm interested in, and people seem to understand what I'm trying to do. So that is great. A very long story. I hope that was entertaining. I think about it myself as well. I think what's interesting about resonance and feedback is, firstly, it's very abstract. It doesn't come from a kind of instrument. And I think if at the point when I will start dealing with instruments, I will have to start dealing with the meanings of a specific instrument. Say if I pick up a violin, it's going to mean something in the Western classical music context. Yes, so different instruments have different implications and connotations. That's something that I'm aware of. But when using feedback, I feel freer because it comes from nothing. It kind of comes from nothing. It's very abstract. The other thing that's attractive is it's quite hard to control. It changes a lot. It has a nature of site-specificness. I often, every time I'm worried if this is going to work, say tonight, when there are 50 people in the space, that's going to change a lot of the properties. I think it's going to be different from when we did a sound check. So I'm hoping that it's going to work. It's risky, but also very exciting. I like the question, but maybe I don't have a very good answer. No, I don't have a very exciting answer. My gut feeling is it's good to have more representations. I think firstly you need to have enough people being seen. Then it's possible to talk about what women's sound is like. I don't know about here, but for example, in the UK, there are some stats that you can find which says, music industry is one of those when you have a big gender disproportion. There's apparently a lot more men working in music industry than any other genres. This is very interesting. I'm not sure why. So I'm happy to be a part of this. Everything's possible. I think something interesting about dreams is, I think it's not the exact thing that I dream of. I think it's quite vivid. My dreams are quite vivid. But what's interesting is the feeling of being in a space that is very concrete. It's very detailed. So it's like I have been to that place in another life, in a parallel universe. And often when I can, after I wake up, I try to make a sketch of what happened in the dreams, because they will be erased very quickly if you don't do that. But yeah, there were some spaces in my dream that gave me this strong feeling that I have been there, although I haven't in this life.